City Hall. Happy New Year to everybody. It is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. Just a couple of programming notes as we get started. We actually have two meetings today. We have a special called session with a single item, and then we have our regularly scheduled voting meeting. A couple of things of note. We have some leisure services recognitions that we'll do in just a couple of minutes. If folks are here for the Homewood proposal, please note that there has been a request for withdrawal of that so that there would not be a vote at all on that item. It, if successful, as decided by the commission, would be withdrawn. And then the bridge renaming, given some public notice requirements, will need to be held. So if you're here for that, that will need to be held because we have to do some legal signage requirements around that. So with that said, I'll go ahead and ask the clerk to do a roll call for us.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Wright.
Present.
Fisher.
Here.
Johnson. Culpepper. Myers.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
Canby.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. And just as we begin, I'll bring to us our civility pledge as provided by the Georgia Municipal Association first. And that indicates that the way we govern ourselves is often as important as the positions we take. Our collective decisions will be better when differing views have had the opportunity to be fully vetted and considered. All people have the right to be treated with respect, courtesy, and openness. We value all input, and we commit to conduct ourselves at all times with civility and courtesy to each other. And the first courtesy is going to be for our leisure services folks who are receiving a couple of awards tonight. So I'm going to come down next to the clerk. All right. So we're really excited, as is often the case. Our Leisure Services Department has been noted as best in class in a couple of areas. And so I just ask Alex Bond, who is our Interim Leisure Services Director, to come forward first. Come on down, my friend. Good to see you. Alex Bond, everybody, cleanly shaven for the new year. Good to see you. How are you? Good holiday? Good, glad to hear. All right, the first award tonight is about one of the great sets of volunteers that we have here. And we have, of course, so many opportunities for volunteerism throughout the community, and many of those opportunities exist in our parks and our natural areas. And tonight we are going to honor the Sandy Creek Nature Center Trail Guides with two awards. The first is the GRPA State Volunteer Award and the GRPA District 7 Volunteer Award. So as we get ready to talk a little bit more about this, I would ask Sandy Creek Nature Center naturalist Kate Mowbray and trail guides Catherine Edison, Chuck Horn, Rebecca Horn, Christy Piper, and Avis Winfield to join me if they are here. I can tell you that the work that they do and the great trail network that we have at Sandy Creek Nature Center is really, for me, one of the personal highlights in our entire array of facilities. If I've ever had a challenging day here at City Hall, which you might imagine happens from time to time, and I need a little burden lifted, need a little relief, Sandy Creek Nature Center's trails is one of the places where I can find that relief. And I'll also tell you that if you talk to any student in the region who visits Sandy Creek Nature Center, their time there is one of the highlights of their year. When they get back to school, they have a great new appreciation for nature and the importance of preserving the environment. The program was launched 50 years ago, and since that time, the trail guides have been the backbone of the field trips that our young people take. It doesn't go unnoticed at all how important the work is that you do, because we wouldn't be able to offer the quality of programming if not for these great volunteers who are all around us. So I just want to thank every one of you for your commitment and service. Please give them a round of applause. All right, so again, the first award is the Volunteer Award for communities of populations of between 80,000 and 150,000. You're going to hang on to that one. All right. And the second one is Volunteer of the Year Award for communities of over 80,000. And you get to hang on to that. And we're going to take some pretty pictures. All right. You're good. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming down. Thank you. And Alex, hang on with us. The second award is for the Leisure Services Department broadly. They've earned the prestigious Georgia Recreation and Park Association's District 7 Agency of the Year Award for populations of between 80,000 and 150,000. And this award recognizes the Northeast Georgia agency that's made a significant contribution to recreation, park, or leisure services on the local level, and is based on outstanding programs and accomplishments over just the last year. And this is particularly significant because it's voted on by your peers in the recreation world. And so please, big round of applause for not just Alex, but our nearly 100-strong Leisure Services staff. And you, my friend, get that put down in the Walker House. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. As is often the case, we have many, many, many opportunities for public input tonight. We're going to have an opportunity for public input on our single special called session item here in a moment. We're going to have an opportunity in the regular voting meeting for public input on the consent agenda and public input on old and new business and public input separately on the single planning and zoning item. And then at the conclusion of the evening, we will have public input on any item to which a member of the public would like to speak that is not on the agenda. Rules of public input are generally the same for each of these opportunities. It's a 3-minute input opportunity. You can see a light in front of the clerk. It will turn green when you provide your name and place of residence and begin speaking. After 2.5 minutes, it will turn yellow. And then after 3 minutes, it will turn red, and I will thank you for your time with us this evening and let you know that we need to move on to the next speaker. We have tonight just a single item on our special called session, and that is the Lay Park Landmark Designation Resolution that would begin the process of creating an historic landmark at the Lay Park facility. And so now is the time when we are taking public input on that single item. So is there anyone who would like to come to the mic and bless us with your 3 minutes? Good evening. Happy New Year.
Mayor Tawana Smith Maddox, Athens, Georgia. And I begin with the celebrations of our ancestors, Jesse Walton Barnett, Evelyn Neely, Miriam Moore, and Virginia Walker, who were instrumental in the Model Cities program, part of the War on Poverty instituted by President Lyndon B. Johnson. With the assistance of an ally and white program director, Walt De Niro, their individual and collective efforts led to accomplishments that should never be forgotten. These include the establishment of basic utilities on the east side, Head Start, Food Nutrition with Action, Inc., programs, other programs through them, the health department, adult education programs, the credit union, and the funding of Central Athens, which I found out after reading the resolution, all through the Model Cities program. Because of their work, so much was achieved that continues to impact our community today. I want to thank you, Commissioner Thornton, for the resolution and for advocating for the sustainability of this facility, which has been a vital support for so many in the community. I also want to thank the rest of you, Mayor and the commissions, for your votes in favor of this resolution. After all of the dialogue and back and forth regarding the land swap, this outcome brings me peace. I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Maddox. Is there anyone else here to speak to the special called session item tonight? All right, seeing none, because this is an item of new business with a first hearing, I do need a motion for suspension of rules. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner
Second.
Thornton, and I have a second from Commissioner Myers. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, now's the time when I'd ask a commissioner to place a motion on the floor.
Mayor and fellow commissioners, it's my honor to make a motion that this resolution be accepted for all the things that Dr. Maddox said, plus more.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Thornton, and I have a second from Commissioner Link. Commissioner Thornton, any further remarks?
Yeah, I got excited. I tried to jump all up in there. I did talk to Willie Hull, who was a longtime director, maybe the first official back then to ask. And he is recovering from a stroke, but he is so excited. I talked to him tonight, and he's so excited about this. Commissioner Fisher, with our initial research, we found where the black men of Athens used Thomas Lay for many years, and your name is spelled out clearly. So I'm just excited that we're doing this. You know, I will say this. Sometimes things start out bad, but good things can come out of bad stuff. And we would never have even recognized that this historical site should be designated if it wasn't with all the other stuff that was going on. I think that we should take this opportunity, though, to look at all the historical sites in our communities, all the contributions that the Miss Neelys, the Miriam Moores, Julie Barnett have done, and many more. I think we owe it to this community because we talk about all the changes going to happen, or all the changes that are happening. But it's our responsibility to keep that legacy going. So I hope this will spur us forward and be proactive. And what's that when they said, if you see something, say something? So if y'all see something in our community, we need to say something. And I tell you who used to always say that, another great man, Reverend Killian. Reverend Killian. I think we have the police substation in Rock Springs named after him. So I'm just honored to be a part of this. And I did speak to commissioners about this before coming forward, so I thank you for your support.
Commissioner Link?
Yeah, I want to thank Commissioner Thornton for bringing this forward, and I want to echo her call for us to look at multiple sites, look at the whole county and identify historic sites throughout our county. This has come up before in the past, and this would require a little budget money to commission a report to take a look at all the historic structures, not just county-owned, but throughout our community. So we can get ahead of the ball when we get some of these redevelopment proposals. Historic Athens has advocated for this as well, and I think, the recent events and recent incidents where properties have been lost and properties that are currently under threat, I think this is, better late than never. We really need to get on that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wright?
Thank you. I want to thank everybody who's gotten this together in the time frame, especially that it was Commissioner Thornton. We've struggled with resolutions, and look what you've done. You got one in here that's capturing steps that we have in place to move it forward versus the struggles we've had that was just words. But the words in this are meaningful. It's things that we need to hear and capture. I think Memorial Park is in the process right now of becoming a historic landmark. So, and also the support during the budget coming up. As Commissioner Link said, I've talked with Historic Athens about the annual cycle of what it takes to get a historic plaque. And I know we want more than plaques, but a plaque helps people learn about the place. And we want the plaque to be with the place, not instead of the place. But I do appreciate the work that's been done here, especially because you can feel it in this room. It has brought peace versus confusion and conflict. And to keep the changes in our community and our community, the classic city, I think that these are the kind of things that can help us all get both, the best of both. So I look forward to this moving forward.
Commissioner, anyone else for Commissioner Thornton continues? Go ahead, Commissioner.
I would be remiss if I did not thank Tommy Valentine, Chris Jackson, and our own Courtney Davis. She did a magnificent job putting these thoughts together. I just want to thank them because they did the work. They just took an idea. And one more person, Anissa Crew from People in Belonging, because when I was struggling, she reminded me of another city that did something very similar. And then when I started talking to other people, it made sense. So making sense and then making it happen is two different things. But we made sense and we made it happen. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor for approval of the resolution. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Abstention from Commissioner Johnson. Please note that for the minutes. All right, motion carries. All right, I need a motion to adjourn the special called session.
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Fisher. Who's the second?
Second.
Commissioner Link. All right, all in favor of adjourning special called session, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, here in the silence, motion carries. Going to move on to our regular session, and we will begin with a roll call.
Davenport.
Here.
Link. Here. Taylor. Here. Wright.
Present.
Fisher.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Culpepper.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
Hamby. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, first order of business is approval of the minutes of the voting meetings of Tuesday, December 2nd, Tuesday, December 16th, and non-voting meetings of Tuesday, December 9th, and Tuesday, December 16th. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion from Commissioner Fisher, the second from, from Commissioner Link. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, are there any written communications tonight?
There are none.
All right. Before we move to public input, would a commissioner like to remove any consent agenda item for discussion? Those are items 1 through 5.
Can I, number 4, I just want to get some clarification.
All right, we'll remove 4 for discussion. All right. All right. Members of the public, if you would like to speak to items 1, 2, 3, or 5, 1, 2, 3, or 5, now is that time. 1, 2, 3, or 5. All right. I'd entertain a motion from a member of the body for approval of
moved.
1, 2, 3, and 5.
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Hamby. Who is the second?
Second.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Wright. All right, I'm going to have Attorney Drake read the ordinance for us.
Agenda item number 1, an ordinance to amend the FY 2026 operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to provide funding to implement the classification and compensation study for the fire department and for other purposes.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, we're going to move forward to item number 6. That's our single planning and zoning item tonight. And again, I know we've got a request for withdrawal that's going to require a vote of the commission, but we still go through the exercise of public input. So if any member of the public would like to speak to item number 6, now is that time.
Request for withdrawal, that's number 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's number 8, Mayor.
Oh, I apologize. Thank you very much. I got the two confused. Number 6 is the rezoning of the 1.53 acres at 293 Hoyt Street. And so thank you for that note. I appreciate it. Hey, Mr. Lane.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Commission. My name is Ed Lane with SPG Planners and Engineers, located at 1725 Electric Avenue. And I'll speak briefly on this rezone, but just as a reminder, this is for a portion of Lay Park, about a 1.5 acre portion to be rezoned from park, government-owned zoning to CD. And I know that this is in the context of a larger decision that you have on your agenda tonight, but I'm speaking to it just on the merits of the rezone alone. And we believe this is in the best interest of Athens-Clarke County and the Downtown Development Authority because it helps to reconcile many of the downtown maps, the planning maps, and all of the different resources that have been planned, including this rezone is compatible with the 2023 comp plan. It's compatible with the future land use map. It's compatible with the zoning map. It's consistent with the Greenway Network Plan. It would contribute to TAD District Number 4. It's consistent with Athens in Motion, and it strongly met the 13 zoning criteria questions. And I think for this reason and others, the staff recommended approval and the Planning Commission recommended approval. So I do want to just ask for the rezone in its own merits and also remind, because Athens-Clarke County retains ownership of this parcel, it does not bind y'all, a successful rezone here does not bind y'all to anything, and it doesn't even preclude y'all changing, rezoning it to something else in the future. But I did want to speak to it, its own merits. Last, I have, I guess, a question or a request, and maybe Bruce can help me on this request. My understanding is that 3 items need to be voted on this parcel, and that includes the future land use designation, the rezone, and the downtown design area. I see the agenda only mentions 2, and if Bruce could back me up on that, okay. And I believe it's in that order too: future land use, then rezone, then downtown development.
The designation of that design overlay would come with the rezone action.
Okay.
Those two would be one vote.
Okay, great. That answers that. I'm available if you have any questions at all about the specifics of the request of the rezone. And also, if needed for any reason, representatives of CORE are here, David Ellison and some of the CORE representatives, if y'all have questions for them related to this. But thank y'all so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Is there anyone else here to speak to 293 Hoyt Street? All right, we'll come for commission action. This is in District 2, Commissioner Link. This, of course, does, as noted, require a pair of votes. The first is on the future land use, and the second is on the rezoning, which includes the downtown design area. So-
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Link to approve the future land use and a second from Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Link, any remarks?
I think the applicant summed it up pretty well, indicating that, all the plans that have been made around this part of downtown have indicated that this is a lot that should be developed. And the Planning Commission voted unanimously for this reason.
Commissioner Wright, anything else?
No, I'm ready to move forward, and others might have questions, but
Any other remarks from members of the body? Commissioner Thornton?
I do think that, again, how this came out the gate probably was a little hairy, but I think one of the big things for me was the information about the tearing down of Thomas Lay Park, and we've gotten that straight. And we've not just gotten it straight about this situation, but for 20, 30, 50 years from now, Thomas Lay will be where it is. I do appreciate Commissioner Fisher's work session. I think that it spoke to some things that I have never seen before, as far as working with local contractors. I've never seen that before. So I just wanted to put that out there before the vote. I think, yeah, that was my comment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any others? Commissioner Davenport?
Just parliamentary. So we are voting for 2 items, or we individually?
So we first have to vote on the future land use modification, and then we have to vote on the modification in zoning.
Okay.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes, now when will this go back to planning? Now, because one of the things we had talked about initially, the plan department was gonna.
So if this is successful, and should the later vote be successful, then the project goes to plans review, in which technical details are managed.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll do a roll call beginning with Commissioner. We'll read, go ahead and with Commissioner Johnson, then we'll get the ordinance read. Commissioner Johnson?
You gonna do it first?
Commissioner Johnson.
Oh,
go ahead.
okay, sorry. Okay, so I watched the planning commission meeting about 4 times, and so we've been ruminating over this project development for, ever since the end of October. The planning commission went through the report, or not the report, but the evaluation and the vote in 31 minutes. One member even said they did not quite understand what they voted on. They didn't discuss. I don't put a lot of weight in that recommendation from the planning commission. I heard some things that I just wanted to highlight. So request to rezone a portion of a parcel from park to commercial downtown. One other area that I was concerned about was the applicant has not suggested anything. Staff, if approved, gets to suggest Dougherty Street or the other downtown area. So I heard overlay for the first time, and I did not read that in the 591 pages overlay. I heard design district. These are new concepts that I'm hearing that we're voting on, and also the future land use. In the meeting, about 4 different planning commission members said that the project was compatible with the future land use map. And I'm not sure why we're voting on future land use for this.
I can clarify that. Every parcel in the county possesses both a future land use designation and a zoning designation. Every future land use designation might include multiple options around zoning designations. So for example, you might have commercial generally, and there are several different commercial categories, and the commercial categories like C, G, or C, and those are zoning classifications. And then within the downtown area, when the first downtown historic district was designated in 2006, different segments of downtown had different design overlays assigned to them based on the portion of geography that they were in.
Do we have a comprehensive list of the areas in our community that are deemed an overlay area?
Yeah, planning can get that for you.
Okay, I requested it today. I did not receive it. I'll wait for that. Another thing I want to bring up. So I don't know who did the presentation for the developer, but this comment struck me as curious. This project is compatible with the comprehensive report. It's vibrant, diverse center. Everyone feels welcome, visitors and businesses. And then he said UGA students. It's not a diverse area. This is student housing. It's misleading. I'm just saying all this because I want this on the record. Another thing that I don't like, and I wish we would change, because it throws us into a reactive mode when someone from the project team said that there are provisions in place for parking at Lay Park when it's under construction. What's the definition of provisions? We don't know what that is. And they're still going to provide parking, but there are provisions in place. And it's just weak. You know, I think this is thrown together. I'm really disappointed in you as our mayor for not bringing us into the fold and helping us understand this project. And as I shared to the project team, it's not you all. It is a great project, but there are so many things that are not planned out. There's no design, and am not confident in voting for it. I'm not going to vote on it, not because it's not a great project, but it's because of this process. And I've done this before, and I hope to one day this will change. We want to be included in the decisions earlier. And we are a collective body, and it seems like you throw things on the agenda for us to vote on. And this was a surprise. We have developers that are trying to build their other projects, and they can't build because maybe you're not interested. I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road, but this was rushed on us. It was thrown on us. And I really appreciate the comment from Mrs. Kirkendall, who talked about this area was originally supposed to be a park and an expansion of the park and the music community, the music center, so that kids can get out and learn more. We just gave an organization last year, in 2024.
Commissioner, we've run out of time for the public input.
Can you please ask if I can have additional time like you normally do?
Would folks extend an additional segment of time?
Thank you so much. Okay, so in June 2024, an organization received $2.4 million for a major undertaking, which was reducing youth delinquency. This is something that offers art, sports, fitness, fresh air. She made a great point. I remember her from years ago. And for it to change all of a sudden and become a development overgrown with students, I don't know. You can't have an initiative to reduce delinquency, but not support it with action. And this has not been supported. And the last thing I will say is, it is very clear that ADA guidelines are not met. They won't be met when the project is completed. And I've shared this with Judd, and I've commented about the process is not being clear. No one's made them clear. No one wants to make them clear. I will self-report any infractions, and I've shared that with Judd, that I will, because it is that important. Somebody will get hurt. It's not when or if. Somebody will get hurt walking 300 feet. That's all I have to say.
We'll do a roll call vote beginning with Commissioner Link, and we'll have Attorney Drake read the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to amending the future land use map of Athens-Clarke County by changing the designation of a portion of one parcel of land comprising approximately 12.87 acres in total, 1.53 acres of which is affected by the future land use amendment approved herein, located at 293 Hoyt Street, from government to downtown and for other purposes.
Thank you, Attorney Drake. Go ahead and begin with Commissioner Link and go around.
Yes.
Taylor,
No.
Wright,
Yes.
Fisher,
No.
Johnson,
No.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Myers,
No.
Thornton,
Yes.
Hamby.
Yes.
And Davenport.
Oh, Davenport.
Yes.
6 yes and 4 no.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, need a motion for the rezoning, which includes the design area as well.
So move.
All right.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Link and a second from Commissioner Wright. All right. And do you need to read the ordinance on this as well?
Ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to rezoning a portion of one parcel of land comprising approximately 12.87 acres in total, 1.53 acres of which is affected by the rezone approved herein, located at 293 Hoyt Street, from P Park to CD Commercial Downtown and for other purposes.
All right, thank you, Attorney Drake. We'll begin with Commissioner Link.
Yes.
Taylor,
No.
Wright,
Oh, I thought we were doing comments. I'm ready to vote. Yes.
Fisher,
No.
Johnson,
No.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Myers,
No.
Thornton,
Yes.
Hamby,
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
6 yes and 4 no.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on now to old and new business. And so those are items 4 and 7 through 14. All right, now's the time when anybody who'd like to speak to 4 or 7 through 14 have the opportunity. So come on down. Don't be shy. Again, just provide your name and place of residence and let us know the item to which you're speaking. Good evening.
Hi, Happy New Year. I'm Kathy Haar. I live at 275 Willow Run. I was here a couple weeks ago with the nonprofit advocacy organization, the Friends of the Greenway. We gave you all our petition to include more trails, or any trails at all, in the 2026 TSPLOST. And I was just here to remind y'all that we had 600 signatures, that we had them from all of the districts, and that I want to thank everybody. I know that there was a lot of discussion about getting the Greenway back into this TSPLOST, and I hope you will continue that discussion tonight and make something happen.
Thank you, Ms. Haar. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year. I'm Andy Savoy with Core Spaces, here to speak in support of item number 7 tonight. As you probably know by now, the development agreement that is item 7 is the product of many months of work between myself, city staff, the ADDA, and also the product of 5 public outreach sessions we held at the Foundry, where we got public feedback from both the public and from leisure services. This development agreement funds needed off-site sewer upgrades at no cost to ACC. These are upgrades which, by the way, create a path forward for phases 3 through 5 of the Bethel Homes development, at least in terms of sewer capacity. The agreement obligates us to build 425 public parking spaces with a very convenient ADA access to Lay Park, with Core paying for half of those spaces and financing the other half at a very low interest rate. The project would create a series of public spaces, including pocket parks and a playground, that achieve much of the intent of the North Downtown Athens Master Plan and the Jackson Street Art Walk SPLOST, all at the cost of Core spaces. The contemplated project would save the historic Foundry and Hoyt House buildings. It would result in $7.8 million in contribution to the Affordable Housing Fund, and it would result in substantial annual contributions to the East Downtown Athens TAD and to the ACC School District. I can see it's a big, bold project, but the public benefits are enormous. Furthermore, we acknowledge that we're not the only stakeholders here. In an effort to ensure that this project is a win for the community at large, we've committed to involving local minority contractors with our next contractor outreach meeting scheduled for tomorrow afternoon at the Foundry. We have approached nonprofit groups, including the Northeast Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce and Destined Inc., which focuses on youth literacy, to offer them extremely low rent in the historic Foundry building to help support the mission of those organizations. There's no developer that I know of that has done anything like that in this town. We understand the complexity and importance of this site, and we're committed to delivering a project that will benefit all Athenians. And so I'm asking you all to please vote in favor of this item tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savoy. Good evening.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron Redmond. I live at 125 Crestview Circle. Speaking on the agenda item 13, TSPLOST funding for greenways. I'm actually a former Greenway employee. I've seen a lot of improvements to the Greenway network over the last 15 years since I worked for the Greenway. I'm also a former member of the Citizens Advisory Committee for the TSPLOST 2018 project, and a lot of that, with that project too, we funded quite a bit of the Greenway, including the Oconee Hill Cemetery section. And I bring that up because while a lot of us think of the Greenway as just a great recreation opportunity, which it is also a viable transportation option for a lot of people. Just last time I was getting a haircut, talking to my barber, and we weren't even talking about the Greenway, but we were talking about commutes, and he brought up the fact that he uses the Greenway, especially the Oconee Hill Cemetery section, to get from his apartment to downtown to go to work. A lot safer option than walking along Lexington Highway. And so just keep in mind too, it's in addition to recreation, great transportation options, definitely safer and more pleasant than than walking along a busy highway. So thank you very much, and appreciate your work.
Thank you, Mr. Redmond. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. Theresa Omanovich. I'm here representing the Northeast Georgia Black Chamber this evening. I am here to speak in support of item number 7, the project redevelopment of the hotel there. And I would like to extend on what Andy Savoy mentioned in regards to the outreach that has been provided to the Northeast Georgia Black Chamber and show our appreciation of it. This is a huge opportunity for local contractors here that are minority owners. The project itself is construction is about $180 million budget. And I just want to remind you guys that you did do a disparity study of procurement with Athens-Clarke County. And your spend over a 5-year period was $409 million, of which you only spent 2% with minority business owners. So this is a huge opportunity to help with that economic mobility that your 2019 report that you paid for indicated that you need more opportunities. You need to provide more opportunities to the people that live and work here. So we're here in support of that. We are also recipients of a scholarship fund that will help young people, youth, engage in trades that are going to be in the construction industry. And then also, Andy mentioned that we had a workshop session on the last month. We've got another one tomorrow evening. And extremely positive feedback from the contractors that did attend. So we appreciate the opportunity of the utilization of the space. That is very much needed for the continuation of the Chamber's work and support of minority businesses here in the area, Northeast Georgia area. I want to say that we don't just service Clarke County, but the Northeast Georgia area. And the opportunity to provide entrepreneurship and help with the economic mobility, cost of living, wage, I can go on 100 million things with that. So I really would appreciate if you guys really did consider the benefits of this project, because I think they outweigh the feedback you get, the negative feedback you've been getting. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Vanovich. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Holly Fuller. I am in support of agenda item number 7. I'm owner-operator of Five Star Painting of Athens, and also Bow & Co. Flooring. We're a local minority and women-owned, family-owned business here in Athens. And I was one of those contractors who attended the meeting with Core Spaces and also the Northeast Black Chamber of Commerce. And just speaking from that first experience, sounds like a great opportunity to be able to work and be a part of that specific contractor as far as work, and also being able to give back to the community as well. So I'm definitely in support of it. We try to give back to the community as much as possible. I'm a member of Kiwanis Club, which I met Mayor at a few years ago. So want to support that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. Good evening
Hello
again.
I'm Tawana Maddox, Athens, Georgia. In December, I don't know, I'm just feeling some kind of emotion. Jesus. In December, I was invited to a meeting with Andy Savoy, the developer of Core, along with Buck Bacon, engineering, where concerns regarding process, transparency, and community impact were discussed. Mr. Savoy acknowledged that the process could have been clearer and shared details about proposed community benefits. Mr. Savoy seemed sincere in his efforts to acknowledge how the decisions surrounding this deal offended the community, some parts of the community. He reiterated the proposed community benefits and shared the additional benefits that were just mentioned with the Black Chamber to incubate space, as well as the scholarships. As we continued to talk, he also offered space to Destin Inc., which is operated for 26 years by my sisters and me. And I will be honest, this deeply moved me, particularly the idea that Black nonprofits could once again have space built by our ancestors in downtown Athens. With my heart for Hot Corner, this really mattered. I'm also that's why I'm so excited about that resolution. I want to be clear, I support the development moving forward, but I do remain concerned and have consistently been concerned in how this project was handled. My issues have never been about one parcel of land. It is about a broader pattern of decision-making by you all, the Planning Commission, the commissioners who were involved initially, the way that that was handled and not brought forward to all commissioners. I just don't agree with that. I believe that there should be early transparency and there should be accountability for long-term community impact, particularly in historically black areas with a legacy of displacement. We need stronger transparency policies to ensure this does not continue. I'm tired of hearing they'll do it anyway, so we'll just lose the benefits. Well, that mindset dismisses community power and accountability. And last, I want to be sure that that strike fund, that $7.8 million, if it's approved, that is well communicated. And I'm talking about ASAP. I'm very concerned about that, and I do not believe that fund, any of that fund should go to NODA, because you should have money for that already. We need a more affordable housing, and we need rehab money to help people have a better quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Maddox. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Barrow. I'm chair of the Oconee Rivers Greenway Commission. Live at 211 Morton Avenue. I'm here tonight to address TSPLOST 2026 and urge the commission to set aside funding for the development of the Middle Oconee Greenway. We presented a project in 2025 for the Middle Oconee Greenway to the TSPLOST Advisory Commission. Unfortunately, we didn't make the final cut. But my understanding is that the commission will be voting tonight on whether to add an additional year to TSPLOST, which would bring in approximately $42 million more dollars. So we were very happy to hear about that development and hope that if that does happen, we can carve out some money for the Greenway. As everybody here knows, the Greenway has a long history in Athens. The initial construction began in the early 2000s, and it has proceeded pretty consistently since then, so that we've now got almost 10 miles of built trail on the North Oconee River. Because so much of it has been built on the North Oconee, the Greenway Commission has shifted its focus and wants to begin construction on the Middle Oconee Greenway, bring the Greenway out to the west side. As of right now, there's not a single bit of built trail on that, on the Middle Oconee. So we're asking for funding to begin that process. As one previous commentator said, a lot of people, I think of the Greenway as a recreational system. And it is that, but it was also envisioned as a transportation network, an alternative transportation network. And if you look at the concept maps that are online and that were approved by this mayor and commission, you'll see that the trail system, when it's fully built out, will span all of Athens. It will connect schools, it will connect neighborhoods, it will connect green spaces, it will connect business centers. It will serve as a true alternative means of transportation for all Athens citizens. It's crucial then that we keep up the momentum. If we do not get funding in this TSPLOST, that'll be the first time in 25 years that the Greenway has not received funding from a TSPLOST or SPLOST that was put on by this city. There's broad support for the Greenway wherever it goes. And we need to begin the process on the west side, and we're asking the Mayor and Commission to consider setting aside some of these additional funds to begin that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrow. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year. Been saying that all week so far. Hope everyone's keeping up with your resolutions, minus to ride my bike to work more days of the week. I am Jason Perry. I live at 170 Hall Street in Athens, and I'm the board president of Bike Athens. Our executive director, Scott, is on vacation this week. So I want to jump on Mr. Barrow's comments and Mr. Redmond's comments about item 13 regarding the lack of a Greenway project on the TSPLOST list. And in particular, the transportation aspect of Greenways. I'm not going to repeat what was said, because even though that was what I was going to say, and I use the Greenway as transportation all the time. I want you to think, close your eyes and think about your primary mode of transportation that you all use as commissioners, and think about the last year behind us and how much money you spent just on upkeep, not just fuel, but upkeep on that piece of equipment. I might have spent $100 on my bike. I can show it to you. It's right outside. It's a beater. I don't even have to spend that much on it to keep it running. At Bike Athens, we provide sliding scale from free to market rate service for anyone who needs service on their bikes. We do a lot of free repairs for folks in Athens who rely on bikes for transportation. Of course, you can also skateboard or rollerblade to work or run or walk along greenways, and it's such a low stress and safe way to do it. I go mile and a half out of my way to use the cemetery connection, which I'm really grateful to have now as part of my commute, so that I can get off the street. Equitable transportation is what Bike Athens stands for. It's not just bikes, but it's primarily bikes for us. It's a really inexpensive way to get around, and there are resources such as us to keep people who can't afford a really fancy bike or can't afford market rates for upkeep of those vehicles. And they are vehicles to get to work, to get to school, to get to services. And so I want you to remember that as an aspect of this, not just recreation, even though that's a hugely valuable part of it as well. It's the reason we call them multi-use paths. It's not just the uses of the of different modes along the path, but it's for different purposes. It can be for anything. It can be for all three things at once. It's transportation and mental health care. You know, for me, it helps me clear my head when I'm riding home from work. It's great. And so please keep the momentum going. We've had amazing expansion of this network throughout the community over the 18 years I've been here and even before then. And, you know, if you drop it now, it's really hard to pick back up, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Chris Mojok, 625 Sunset Drive. I'm also here to speak in favor of item 13, including Greenway funding and the TSPLOST for this cycle. I don't have facts or official stuff, just kind of context from life. I've been a daily bike commuter for about 20 years, 10 plus years in Athens. My bike commute to work takes me right past my kids' high school at Central. I know the Greenway is not going to connect there, but I can't convince anyone in my household to become a bike commuter like me because I was dumb enough to get comfortable bike commuting just on the roads. But I think if my three kids had more access to the Greenway trails, you kind of develop this sense of security and using the bike as a way to get around. You know, my kids work here at Automatic Pizza and Dunkin' Donuts and Batty's Burgers, and we don't live that far away, but they won't ride their bikes there because it just doesn't feel quite right. Now, everyone in my household is a bike commuter by choice if they decided to be. But we've got a lot of people in the community who, if we had this this connected network of Greenway trails, you develop the comfort of being on your bike, getting around town. You know, I can now use that cemetery path to get from where I work down near Ramsey up into downtown. And I just think, like, every time I take somebody on it with me, they're like, oh man, if there was more of this, yeah, I think I might use my bike more. So I would just like to put out there that it is, I mean, yes, I love riding my bike, it's fun, but it's a very effective and cost-effective way for me to get around. So I hope you all consider that, adding that funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mojok. Good evening.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Olivia Asher. I live at 105 College Station Road, and I'm also talking about agenda item number 13 in regard to funding for the Greenway as part of the TSPLOST. When I moved to Athens around 4 years ago, I did not have a car, so the Greenway was pretty much my only source of both transportation and recreation because there wasn't really anything I could get to aside from that without a car. And I noticed that in some of the proposed projects, there were some really good things for the Greenway that would improve the experience a lot, like a pedestrian bridge over Oconee Street. That was one of the worst parts of trying to cross that on rollerblades. very scary, would not recommend. So having a bridge across would just be such an improvement. So anyway, the Greenway is really important to me, and I hope that you all will consider adding some funding to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Asher. Good evening.
Hey, my name is Bart King. I live in Forest Heights on the west side of Athens in District 5. Lived there since 2004. And for years I've been excitedly awaiting the arrival of the Greenway along the middle of Oconee, as well as parks further out on the west side and behind Forest Heights with Beach Haven. And so, and I've been envious of Greenway access of people on the east side and the north side. And more so as I travel around to cities of similar sizes around the country, I'm becoming envious of cities that seem to be accelerating livability with their trail systems. I feel like we are falling behind a bit with that here in Athens. Might just be my point of view because I don't have trails to ride on the west side and have to travel to get to them. Yeah, I'm disappointed that as soon as the Commission has decided to suggest that we begin developing on the middle of Oconee, that funding seems to have stalled. So I'd really love to see some funding set aside for Greenway development along the middle of Oconee. I'd really hope this is something I'd be able to enjoy with my daughter, who was born in 2011, but she's going to be heading off to school in about 3.5 years, so I'm starting to wonder if now. I've often joked that I'm hoping it'll be around by the time I retire, and it's starting to feel a little more like the case, but I hope we have something sooner than that. And then one other thing that's been concerning as I talk to people about this, I've heard talk of the TSPLOST being defined as a special tax, as opposed to a special tax that could be used for sustaining maintenance projects and so forth, as opposed to a special projects tax. And my concern is that if more and more it's a special tax that's used for sustaining maintenance, that it will become harder and harder to pass TSPLOST or SPLOST for special projects that I feel like we deserve as a community. So that's just a bit of a separate issue. Just wanted to mention that that's come to mind. But anyways, thank you for your work.
Thank you, Mr. King. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Danielle Gilmer. I live in Forest Heights, 725 Fine Forest Drive. I'm just going to echo what a lot of people have already said. I'm very excited as a resident over in Forest Heights on the west side for the development of the Beach Haven Park. And I know that's going to take some time, but having the Greenway expansion on the middle of Coney happen in tandem or in the same vein, I think is really going to make a difference. We all know, unfortunately, it takes longer than we want for these projects to come to fruition at the moment. So getting started now with projects that are going to align with that Beach Haven Park that everybody is so excited for just makes sense. By the time we have the park open, we're going to have to figure out parking and other ways to get into it. So to me, it just kind of makes sense to start considering that middle of Coney piece and the trails that connect up other parts of the city. The west side definitely could stand to have some green space and some connectivity. And again, like what other folks have said, it's not just a leisurely thing. It's transportation, it's health, it's peace of mind, and it's an Athens that I want to live in. So thank you all very much for considering.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Benny Coleman, and I'm a candidate for District 7 Commissioner. I'm going to stand boldly in front of everyone. I'm totally against anything when it comes to bikes unless you treat them as an automobile, a truck, a plane. They have to have license, tag, registration like everyone else that pays taxes, and that money can be used on something else. If you want to feel like you have to give them that privilege to give them more passes, make them pay for it with the money for that they pay on the tax, their tags, and the license fee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Michael Goltzer. I live at 120 Valleywood in Athens. And I'd like to also support some action by the Commission to restore funding in item number 13 for the Greenway within the TSPLOST 2026. I'm really not sure why it didn't make the cut, and I guess I would ask you guys to ask that question. Missing a whole TSPLOST cycle, it would be pretty devastating, I think, to progress in expanding the Greenway, which for me is, yes, it's a recreational opportunity, but for just transportation, if I was still commuting to work, I would be happy to use that Greenway. And it's there for everybody to use once it's built. If it doesn't get built, then, the effort will wither and be harder to get it started up again later. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Galter. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Tim Denson, 483 Quailwood Drive. Just wanted to briefly speak to item number 11 on the right-of-way use. I do appreciate the time and work that the ad hoc committee put into this. I think really thinking from different points of view and getting a lot of different perspectives. One of the things that was brought up multiple times and is in the report is that the commissioners on the ad hoc committee did think that lockers should be supplied for unhoused individuals be able to store their items, since that is one of the things that's on here making that unlawful to do. And it was cited in the report that further work will be done. I do urge this commission, I think you all know, I definitely know, that this work is continuous, moves very fast, and if something usually isn't put in writing and with a hard date on it, it usually does not get revisited. So I highly encourage y'all to, that whenever if this is passed, that y'all put a hard date for the item, for those lockers to come back before this body, because I think we all know that if that is not done, it's probably not going to happen for a number of years. So please, I definitely, because otherwise I don't want us to be using this law to criminalize those who are homeless, which could very easily happen if that's not done. So again, I just urge y'all to actually put a hard date for a future meeting in which that item can come back before you if you pass this item. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Denson. All right, we'll come for commission action. Good evening.
I had the easy seat. My name is Alan Jones. I live at 195 Xavier Drive, and I'm speaking on TSPLOST 13. I will say also that to echo the leisure services thing, we have a great leisure services department. I was on the first day hike in Ben Burton Park this last week, and it was a joy. The TSPLOST piece, adding the 6th year, totally for that. But I am totally against the thought of earmarking a majority of that money like you did with the initial 5 years. That was wrong. It's wrong to do it again. Do not earmark that money for maintenance and other things for that 5th year. This is kind of a way to make up for that, what I call an injustice. We should be paying for maintenance issues out of our regular budget, not out of these special projects. I'm also going to speak for using some of the additional funds for, you've heard me talk about Timothy Road a million times, and I hear that that is being added, and I thank you so much for those people that are putting that piece together. Timothy, Mitchell Bridge, both need that money. But I also want to speak a little bit about the Greenway. I left Athens in the late 90s and was gone for about 10 years, making my career in Atlanta. But once I got to the point where I could live anywhere I wanted to, I came back. And there were really 5 things that were kind of infrastructure related, kind of, but not totally, that brought me back. And none of that was football. First, the Dallas Voice magazine rated Athens one of the top 10 gay Mayberries in the United States. Back then, even when we had a 20 for the Human Rights Campaign score. The Georgia Theater and our music scene, the Botanical Gardens, the historic and quirky downtown back in the olden days when it was clean and inviting, and the Greenway. The Greenway is something that is, and it's been visionary. It has been something that has been an ongoing thing that is just inspirational, the way it has grown with Athens, and that it has brought joy to so many people. and that it has brought transportation to them. I'd probably be 100 pounds heavier or dead because of having to bike on the roads if it were not for that greenway. So please consider adding funding back for that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Right. Commissioner Fisher, you asked for removal of item 4 for a question about the Freeman Drive sewer force main replacement.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, and as Commissioner Thornton's district, and of course I don't want to speak for her, but the developer of that property, the Tanners, had reached out to me, and I also asked them to reach out to Commissioner Thornton. They were concerned about how long this project was going to take, but when I looked at the notes, it seemed like it's going to get fast-tracked. Maybe we're thinking about maybe 90 days. I think we're going to start sometime this month and try to get it done by
Seeing an indication in the affirmative from the Public Utilities Director.
right, because initially they was concerned that was going to be 6 to 8 months, and I felt like that was unacceptable. But I appreciate you all getting on the ball, working with them, because I think that Hope 139 is going to be a great housing for parents and single parents and mothers who needs that support. So thank you all for fast tracking that. And again, they did reach out to Commissioner Thornton and I'm just wanting to make sure that we get that fast track, get that sewer and stuff connected, because we're going to need that moving forward. So thank you all for doing that.
Do they know you're going to start within the 90 days? Do they know that?
Director Terry, you've been able to engage with the property owner?
Yes, we've been talking to them. As soon as you give us the go-ahead, we'll get a
Well, you got to go ahead.
Well,
as soon as we get the
need-
that go ahead.
Is there a motion for a vote?
There is.
I've got a motion from Commissioner Fisher. There's a second from Commissioner Thornton. We've begun the process of the go-ahead. Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, you've got the go-ahead. All right, good job, everyone. We're winning tonight. All right, we are moving on to old business item number 7. This is the development agreement for redevelopment of public and private properties around 295 East Dougherty Street. Could I please have a commissioner place a motion on the floor?
Move to approve. Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Link and a second from Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Link, is there anything else to say?
I think we've been batting this around behind the rail here for several months now, and we had a really productive, intense, and deep dive, informative work session about it, and I would hope that everybody has the information they need to move forward and see to it that, for once, this community can actually benefit from a private development project. We're going to see about $8 million going into our housing fund from this project, and a couple $1 million a year going towards the East Athens TAD. I think this can serve as a model going forward of how we can use private development to truly benefit the community. And also, I hope that this project can serve as a model for some desperately needed downtown design guideline changes. We've got a project that on the ground really meets the community. It has these little pocket parks and public spaces, and I feel like that's the kind of thing that we should make a requirement, especially in our downtown, as it interfaces with very public areas. There's a little misinformation out there. This project saves the Foundry Building. By entering this agreement and the ADDA working with this private developer, they're able to do this land swap that saves the Foundry Building. I could place a 90-day hold on the demolition of that building. It would be up to the will of this body to go for a longer moratorium, but we've been down that road before and we know how it ends. We couldn't save the Say building. I don't think anybody behind this rail wants to go through that, and I don't know that there would be a fruitful outcome. Here we have a private developer who's willing to save that building, and not only save the building, but have it be used by the community, by minority nonprofits, to invite the community into the property and help the history of that building be told forever. I'm not all that excited about student housing towers, but I'm even less excited about more students moving into our neighborhoods. If this
project can pull 1,400 kids out of East Athens and Hancock, all the better.
Commissioner Wright, anything?
I'm supportive of this, and it is a very complicated project. The public-private ACCGov with the Downtown Development Authority is really the beginning of some other complicated things that we'll be doing in the Arena District. So we need to just nail down what it is that we all need in the process and when. I'm taking notes, the earlier the better. And that we have a committee that can help with that's got Commissioner Culpepper and I. So hopefully, when things are get moving and decisions are being made, that you guys are in the loop, so that you are learning the different public-private decisions that are being made in other areas of our community for higher, better use of our properties. And I'm just glad that people know that Lay Park is not part of it, is its higher, better use. And I'm glad that we nailed that down today. But I'm ready to vote.
Thanks, Commissioner. I've got Commissioner Fisher and then Commissioners Myers and Thornton.
Yeah, I just want to go on record, and I really need to be crystal clear about this. I want to speak for the 4 colleagues of mine that voted no. And y'all have heard me talk about this project from day one, and what my issues are and moving forward for what that corridor is going to look like over the next 10 years. And I fear, because of what's going to happen with that corridor, that Tom Lay and the Linden House is going to pretty much be surrounded by student housing, and that's unfortunate. And I'm looking at the impact it's going to have on the young people that may be using Lay Park. I appreciate the fact that Corps is going to be using minority contractors in this project. I appreciate the fact that the Foundry Building is going to be a home to nonprofits that's going to help, and all that stuff is great. I appreciate the $7 million that's going to be put in a housing fund. But again, I always think about the future. I always think about how it's going to impact young people in our community when they're using the Tom Lay Center, and whether or not they're going to still feel a source of pride. Is this really going to be our community center for this community? So for me, and I know by right, and I need to put that out there because there was an article in the paper that they felt like that we as commission didn't understand that by right they can build. We understand that by right they can build 950 units. I get that, but this is 1,400 units. I am concerned about the parking because there's not enough parking spaces, and I'm concerned about the overflow of where that parking is going to go once those kids get there. So there's some good things that's going to impact some of the community, but again, I always think about the future and what's really going to happen to that area over the next 5 to 10 years when we continue to put in more and more student housing. I have said this personally, and some of you all disagree with me. Don't think we need more student housing. I truly don't. I did a ride around during the holidays. I'm going to different apartment complexes. There is an enormous amount of vacancies in this community, a lot of them. So, and that can be a good or bad thing. If there are a number of vacancies, maybe rent will come down and people can go in there and afford to live there, and that's great. But again, we can't continue to put student housing, and this is, and again, I always said that Athens-Clarke County government don't need to be in the student housing business. That's not our bailiwick. Our bailiwick should be, how do we build this community moving forward and not being in student housing development. But again, and I think the 4 of us who voted no, we're not so much against what's going to happen, how it's going to benefit, but we're looking at the future and how it's going to impact that area over the next 5 to 10 years. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Myers.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with a lot of what Commissioner Fisher said, and appreciative of the increased benefits that will come out of this, because it's clear where the vote is. But I do want to just reiterate why I'm not supporting this. I actually do not agree that the land swap agreement benefits the community in the long run down the future. Student housing built by right with the inclusionary zoning on the land already owned by the developer could be done, and without the land swap, and would also produce significant dollars for affordable housing and add to the TAD. Swapping the land so that we can build a public parking deck in the back of the foundry to be mostly used by long-term student parking is not, from my perspective, the best use of ACC land or money. Swapping the Lay Park parking lot and playground profoundly affects access to Lay Park, and with the addition of 1,400 student housing bedrooms, has significant potential to alter how and by whom Lay Park is used. The decision to proceed with the land swap was negotiated without broad commission involvement and then presented as a best option for the community. Not something I'm pleased with. Finally, simply put, I'm not against dead student housing, but I am against ceding all of downtown as a continuation of North Campus to student housing.
Got Commissioner Thorne.
I don't want to go back over the benefits because I think Commissioner Fisher and Commissioner Myers really said all I wanted to say on that. But I do want to say, I do agree, this is a huge project. I didn't even realize it was this huge when it came to us. We're voting on piece here, a zone there, a crunch there. It was too huge to go through the process that it went through. And I do feel as though that me personally, I would have rather to be a part of those conversations on the beginning, but I guess I'm the oldest one up here now. And one of those old sayings, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And the truth of the matter, if you're going to build it anyway, without that deck, let us get something out the deal. Now, that sounds like quid pro quo, don't it, Bob? That sounds like quid pro quo, but it's not really, because I think that we found another terminology for quid pro quo, and that is community benefits. To me, those are the same thing, but we'll talk about that another time. One thing I did go to the first session of the workshop they had with the minority subcontractors. There were not just black folk in there. There were women. One young lady spoke tonight. There were Hispanics in there. There were male, of course, and there was an Asian guy in there. That's what diversity looks like to me. And when we talk about the disparity study, this right now under this administration, that's flushed down the toilet. The disparity study is just rip it up, okay? But the fact that we're working with a private contractor that does not have to go by these federal regulations, we can do what this government has not done for our community ever, ever. Our community has depended on this government to treat us, and I say us, me, her, him, us, the same way some of the other groups are being treated. This is the first time a developer has stepped out of the box. Is it going to be perfect? No. Are there going to be glitches? No. But this is the first time developers have, I'm taking a minute more.
Everybody okay with another minute?
Yes. This is the first time ever a developer has reached out into our community and not take all the goodies for themselves. I wish, and another reason I'm going to support it, I was talking to another developer who's getting ready to unroll his housing plan in 2026. And when I was telling him about this, he was saying, I've been looking for, to work more in the minority, community. When I come in, no, you're not gonna meet with me, because nobody's gonna be saying I'm making no deal. I'll point you in the right direction. But I feel as though our staff should be directing our minority subcontract. So if staff is not doing that, if that's not an important thing, then we got to depend on private developers. No, this isn't. I think Commissioner, I'm not Commissioner, Dr. Maddox talked about the Bethel project. If I had have known that it was not fully funded like it should be, we shouldn't have even started it. But now we're picking it up and picking up the pieces, but you can't leave it just hanging. But I guarantee you this, somebody knew. We might not have known, but somebody knew. And the last thing I'm going to say about the infrastructure and the sewer, I've heard Commissioner, what's your name? Johnson. Commissioner Johnson and even one of our speakers talked about that infrastructure should be paid for by our tax dollars. Actually, I don't think a developer should be paying for infrastructure unless that's what they want to do. But we should make sure our infrastructure is good, so we do have a good product. Now, I don't want to put Bob on the spot, but I've been known to do that. When I talked to Bob about the infrastructure and about the quarry, we talked about the quarry. Since the developers are taking over the infrastructure on this project, I would like our PUD enterprise to look at the monies and come back with, I guess this has to go through a motion, but we need to take those dollars and address the quarry. We keep kicking that quarry down there. Guess who suffers? It's not a lot of people in here now. But why we keep kicking the quarry down the hill if that's a public entity? And I think you said, we own it now. And when you buy the house, if you haven't done all your stuff.
Commissioner, we're going to have to move on, but
okay,
I do want to make a note that we are going to address the Public Utility Service Delivery Plan, which will include exactly that property this year.
The quarry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Got Commissioner Johnson.
Okay, so with the quarry, when you buy the property, you own the debts. And so if there were issues that were existing when you purchased the property, we assume those issues, and they have not been sufficiently addressed. They've been drug along and ignored, no return phone calls, and it's heartbreaking. And you should just, some of us should go to those homes and see the floors separating. I just wanted to finish Commissioner Thornton's thought. Okay, so here we go. Like I said, I watched the video of the Planning Commission evaluate this proposal. They did not have the full 500 plus page document. So, as it relates to sewer, I believe it was the attorney who spoke. He said the potential benefit, I just want you to know, the potential benefit of this project is $2.6 million in service upgrades, one-time benefit of $14 million. He also stated $2.4 million in benefit from tax revenue. Okay. Someone in the audience asked a question, a very good question. The $2.6 million you referenced, is it for this sewer or what sewer? So they're down on Hoyt, Jackson, and Dougherty Street, because we've seen different agenda items with all three names. He actually said the $2.6 million contribution is not for this project. He said it's for North Downtown. The developer will be helping fix an issue related to the sewer closest to the Classic Center. I actually put the minute. He said that at minute 30 minutes, 13 seconds, around there. That's an issue. I also want to highlight, folks, we get funding and people do things, but money never ends up where it's supposed to end up. That $7.9 million, it's not going to end up where it's going to end up. And if it did, let me just show you what will happen. So I requested, myself, Commissioner Myers, and one other commissioner, requested a 5-year summary of the homes completed by the Housing and Community Development Department, working with the housing partners. And so I started crunching numbers, doing analysis. I'm going to just use one nonprofit. So since 2015, this is the Athens Land Trust. The Athens Land Trust has 2 different categories, completed and pending. In the 15 years, this spreadsheet from the data that we received indicates that they received almost $5 million. They built 26 homes. So when we say 7.9 million, something's wrong. Something's happening.
Would you like another segment of time?
I would. I got 2 more points, and I'll speak with brevity. The total bedrooms of those 26 homes are 76. That's not a good return on investment. Okay, moving on. Okay, so for the Greenway, you know, I used to live in Washington and California and Idaho, and I love the Greenway too. But in some districts, it is just not feasible for me to have compassion and be hopeful
we will
about.
have a separate conversation about the TSPLOST, but this is just about the Dougherty Street project.
Okay, so no project District 6 on the Greenway, clarify misinformation, winging, okay. Everything about this project has felt like everybody's winging it. There's no plan in action, in writing. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of wish, but it's nothing in writing. And we've gotten burned before. The parking problem, it's a problem before they break land. And when they leave town, it's not their issue and they don't care. But that is going to be a real issue. I'm not going to vote for it. And it is, you know, I really do commend the core group, because you are the very first that actually said we are willing to invest. That's commendable. You're going to get it. This is going to pass. But I want to be consistent, and I want this on the record, the inconsistencies. So that's why I'm just making these points. And the last thing is, you know, I put this together 2 weeks ago, and it had dawned on me after having conversations with developers that projects went through successfully if they were willing to do additional work in development that wasn't part of their plan. They were able to get their projects through the process and complete them. If you weren't willing to do this additional work, you know, like you're going to build a parking deck, variances are approved. But when you don't have the funds to do that, everybody can't be in the game. Everybody doesn't have the funding, and it sends a message. And we are known for being hard on businesses. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yeah. So I won't be voting for this project. And it's not because of all of the community benefits or what the core group is going to do for the blacks, but it's more so the future of the area. Because one thing that's dawned on me is every time that we've went on a trip somewhere, we've always went to a state that has a riverfront kind of area. And so I see that that's where this project is kind of like, you know, spearheading and leading to. So Lord help, bigger vision. But I'm really concerned about the residents of Bethel Homes and the scatter sites and Housing Authority, because Housing Authority lately has been going more public-private, which means the scattered sites will also be next, whatever ACC, Housing Authority, and whatever private developer decides to come in and get a piece of the pie. My concern is, where are those residents gonna go? But then I thought about it. The building of Highway 29, potentially is where most of those residents are going to go. And this body will be the governing body that pushes the residents from Bethel Homes out. Denny Towers, I'm sure, is going to be going to go as well, along with the scattered sites. And to believe that when we get 1,400 student bedrooms, that they're going to somehow not be my neighbors anymore is delusional. Students love their freedoms. They don't like to be stacked on top of each other, because if they did, then they wouldn't be my neighbors. They would be downtown or at the Atlas that has vacancies. It's so heartbreaking, because our children, they won't be able to go to Lake Park, even though it's going to be designated as a historic area. It is going to be used by those 14 bedrooms. And, you know, I'm not saying black students aren't going to be a part of those 14 bedrooms, because more than likely they will. But the Bethel Home residents who, you know, will be able to live there or could afford to live there, because most of them can't afford to live there now, and it's supposed to be affordable housing. They can't live there now. They're being evicted now. So, you know, in a couple of years, that won't even matter, because they can't afford to live in it. And I'm saying all of this because, Kelly, you know very well, my grandma lived on College Avenue before she passed away. You actually sat in her living room, and so it weighs heavy on my heart. Yeah, give me some more minutes. It weighs heavy on my heart, because we don't have residents from Bethel Homes that's here today to talk about what they live through every day, what they live through during construction, and also the displacement of neighbors now. And they don't have a voice. And I felt like if I just sat here and just continued to listen to everybody else, then those residents won't have a voice. My silence means that I'm complacent with homegrown Athenians being pushed out, because the dollar sign is more important. And I get that money is going to go to the downtown tab, the East Downtown tab, which is in District 3 and District 2. But the fact that District 3 is being gentrified at such a heavy rate, we won't even need affordable housing, because those children will be able to afford the houses that we're going to be pushed out of, because we are not going to be able to afford the taxes. These are all of the things that are going to happen within the next 5 to 10 years. And being the youngest person on the commission, I hope to see the change in Athens, but I also hope to see that change also involves the residents that voted us in these seats, not the private developer that comes from out of state to say, this is what we're going to do for the blacks. And the blacks say, well, we appreciate you doing it for the blacks, but it's not going to be all the blacks in Athens. It's going to be the blacks in Northeast Georgia, which 9 times out of 10 is not going to be the blacks in Athens. It's not a lot of contractors, blacks, Latinos, or Asians in Athens. And so, yeah, with us patting ourselves on the back, we probably should take into account all of the seats that are going up in May, and, you know, who's going to get the votes. And, yeah, that's it.
Anyone else before I return to Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Johnson?
I agree with everything the people that spoke said. Besides the first person, I want to say that I'm just waiting for, because of the history of my first 12 months of being hijacked with the last-minute projects thrown at us to make very serious decisions, I am concerned. I would love for us to be partners in information and plans. We have these meetings, we have these retreats, and we don't talk about nothing. We don't fix nothing. We don't talk about nothing. But some of these things we are lectured to and maybe given some information, but we do not have a dialogue. It is all monologue for the most part. There's a lot to fix. And I am just waiting for someone to say, We're clearing all of the unhoused individuals out of downtown, and we are moving them to the country land in District 6, or the country land in District 1, or the country land in District 9, because we don't have all of the same pleasures that the other districts do. And I see something 5 years ahead, 2 years ahead. We're trying to eliminate, you're making all downtown for students. They want to feel safe. We want them to feel safe, but it shouldn't be at the, it shouldn't be for leaving, pushing people out of their homes. I want to be a part of the strategy, the conversation, and you don't do that. I want to do that with, if some commissioners don't care, that's fine, but I want to know what's coming.
All right, I've got a motion and a second on the floor, so we'll do a roll call vote in just a moment. I did want to note a couple things that through the multiple conversations we've had have emerged just about direction with some of the component pieces. One of the component pieces of this, obviously, are additional funds for our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and on our 23rd of January mini retreat where we look at the budget, we'll have a session specifically designated for that fund because we've got some dollars in there already, and should this be successful, we'll have additional dollars. Also want to note, given proximity to the former Bethel homes, that the Housing Authority has indicated to us that when the second phase is complete, which will be under construction this spring, that will house everybody who was in the former Bethel homes in North Downtown. So just want to make sure that that's clear to everybody. Commissioner Link was the motioner, so we'll begin the roll call with her.
Yes.
Taylor?
No.
Wright?
Yes.
Fisher?
No.
Johnson?
No.
Culpepper?
Yes.
Myers?
No.
Thornton?
Yes.
Hamby?
Yes.
Davenport?
Yes.
6 yes, 4 no.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Motion carries. All right, we're moving on to item number 8, and we've received a formal request for withdrawal of item 8, and so I'll turn to Commissioner Fisher to make a motion.
Yeah, like to put a motion on the floor, now, item 8, that the Carter Development has requested to pull their application for the 2415 Jefferson Road.
All right, so I've got a motion to accept the withdrawal request. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Davenport. Anything further, Commissioner Fisher?
Yeah, just, and again, I want to address residents in Homewood Hills and also the Carter. You know, we went back and forth, had a number of meetings, and hopefully what I hope come out of this is we go back to the drawing board, we meet back with the residents in Homewood Hills. Hopefully we can come up with something that would fit that particular shopping center. Probably not going to be perfect, but hopefully it'll be something that everybody can live with. And I do appreciate Carter willing to withdraw their application for us to come back to the drawing board to look at something. And I appreciate the back and forth. And this is how democracy looks. You know, we talk about it, we meet about it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, I do appreciate them willing to withdraw the application, willing to come back to the table, and willing to have some really good discussions with the residents over at Homewood Hills.
Anything further, Commissioner Davenport?
I was going to mention something, going to mention about a buy right, because there are a lot of residents in Fisher's District and others who mention that don't scare us or buy the buy right building. You need to be scared of a buy right building. Because a buy right building, well, if a buy right development could literally right now build without public input, without commissioners, without any input from anybody, can build right now because it's zoned that way. And I appreciate what the developers were trying to do and working with the neighbors. It's unfortunate, but I completely understand the livability of those residents who have been stationed over there. They want to keep it quiet, but you know, just down the road, if a developer comes and purchases that property and start putting up 5-story buildings right next to your home, you know, just understand that you had a developer to at least try to communicate and discuss for other options.
Anything further? If we've got a, let me have Attorney Drake read the ordinance, and then I'll turn to Commissioner Link.
Ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to rezoning one parcel of land comprising approximately 15.95 acres located at 2415 Jefferson Road from CG Commercial General to CGPD Commercial General Plan Development and for other purposes.
Thanks, Attorney Drake. Commissioner Link?
Yeah, I mean, I want to speak to the idea of a by right project going in there that really could be a lot worse, and really impactful to the neighbors. As we update our future land use plan and take a new look at our zoning, I think it's time for us to look at that CG and CN zoning and height restrictions, particularly when buildings are located at a certain proximity to single-family neighborhoods. I think that's something we need to do as soon as possible because, the buildings of that height can have a real impact when they're located very close to people's backyards. I know, I live a block off Prince Avenue. So I think we really need to get on that and on some downtown design guidelines really quickly.
Got a motion and a second to accept the withdrawal. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, we're going to move on to item 9. I know, Commissioner Myers, you've spearheaded a kind of alternative, so I'll ask you to place a motion on the floor.
Yeah, I want to make a motion to approve the CDO submitted by Commissioner Fisher and myself that would be a waiver for 100% of the water and wastewater connection fees for the Mental Health Recovery Center that Advantage is building.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Myers, second from Commissioner Fisher. Anything further, Commissioner?
I just want to thank the Attorney's Office for working through the ordinance that was needed for this. I hate saying this, I mean, it's only $100,000, but the budget has gone so far, it'll save them a continued $100,000. That project started at about 11 million and is now 10 million more over that. And Advantages have secured grants and value engineered the project to make up for the difference. But this will help, and this will help with them finally get the moving forward on this project that the community's needed for long. It's a 32-bed recovery-based residence with wraparound support services for those with mental illnesses. So I look forward to this getting started and getting completed.
Anything further?
Ditto, but I think it's 60 beds.
Is it?
60.
It's 60 beds, Commissioner Myers.
okay, well-
But just to echo my
32,
colleagues' comments and the CDO that we put together, and I think it is well needed
It's
for our
32.
community when we're dealing with mental health and substance abuse, and I think it's really going to help impact some of the things that goes on. And I hope we can be an example for other parts of the state that can build these type of campuses and these type of housing for people who need those assistance. So I'm fully in support of the CDO.
Yeah, no, thank you for that correction. It's 32 two-bedroom units, make 64, my math. Thanks for that.
All right, do we have an ordinance?
Ordinance to waive water and wastewater connection fees for that certain mental health recovery facility project located at 240 Mitchell Bridge Road and for other lawful purposes.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I'm so sorry. So I do support this, but I'm looking ahead at, it's initially started with developers who were willing to work in that space of inclusionary zoning. And so they got that 30% break. And I understand the need for this. So my question is, how far are we going to go? We have individuals that live below the poverty line that can't pay for their water. Are we willing to do the same thing? Because with the developers, there was something that was asked and given. It was an exchange, like a contract. This is just assistance for a community benefit. But we do have people in the community that struggle to pay their water bill.
As a note, this is for the connection, but not for the monthly charge.
So
Not for the ongoing operation, but just for that connection. When you build a new structure, you pay for both the water and separately for the sewer connection based on the size of the pipe connecting to that facility. And so this is for that, but not for a waiver of the monthly fee.
Okay. May I ask if our housing partners transfer that expense to the owner, the person that's moving in? Do they pass that expense on, or is it just part of the building?
It would be hard for me to quantify exactly.
Okay.
So for Habitat for Humanity, for example, or for some of our recent LIHTC projects, like the one on Highway 72, exactly what the translation is. But
Okay.
I think generally speaking, I think it's fair to say that if you reduce the overall cost of construction, then you reduce the cost to
Of the house.
end user, to the occupant.
Thank you.
Commissioner Myers?
Yeah, I do want to clarify that this is not connected to the inclusionary zoning. It's another ordinance that allows policy, that allows a reduction in fees for projects that are adding for housing and for economic development if approved by the commission. So, we do have a lot of policies on building and such, so this one is a little bit different there. And so this is just for the building of it, it's not for the ongoing costs.
Again, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. We do need a motion to hold item 10 because we have some advertising requirements that we have to pursue. Do I hear such a motion?
Yes, so moved. Do we need a timeline on that?
I think that there are some legal requirements, and so I don't want to try to.
We'll see it as soon as practical.
Yes.
Both of the requirements are for 60 days.
Okay.
At least 60 days.
Okay, so hold is the way to go.
Okay, hold from Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Link. All right, anything further?
Nope. Yes.
Commissioner Davenport.
So I'll be working with Commissioner Thornton to talk with Weaverdees and Ms. Barbara Barnett on options. So 60 days gives us plenty of time, and hopefully we'll come to a resolution.
And I will say, both of them were here tonight.
Oh.
But I told them to go. I think Commissioner Myers had a great idea too, so we'll bounce it off of him.
So some more work to be done. There, of course, for the public who are listening, there are two parallel bridges, and so they could be separately named because there's some interest in another
That's not an
honorary.
idea.
So, but there are some others out there as well. So certainly, the whole time will give everybody time to sort these out. Commissioner.
If y'all could include us so that we know what y'all are talking about, that'd be great. That'd be great. Just not tonight. Not tonight. The agenda item is to be on hold right now.
Right,
If you guys have got something else going on in my district, I'd be happy if you would include me on what's going on. Thank you.
District.
All right, there's a motion from Commissioner Wright and a second from Commissioner Link to hold. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, item 11 is ordinance revision from the Right-of-Way Use Ad Hoc Committee. Entertain a motion from any member of the body?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion from Commissioner Fisher and a second from Commissioner Davenport. I'll have Attorney Drake read the ordinance at this point.
There are three ordinances, Mr. Mayor, three separate ordinances attendant to this agenda item. First is an ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to obstructing public sidewalks and streets and for other purposes. The second is an ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to definitions, service categories, customer classification, and for other purposes. And the third is an ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to abandonment of personal property within public rights-of-way and for other purposes.
Thank you, Attorney Drake. Commissioner Fisher, any remarks?
Yeah, just for the public, just for the record, this is not to criminalize our homeless population. However, I think those businesses downtown and other places in Athens should not have their business impede because somebody is sleeping in their doorstep or in their doorway. So I think some of this is going to help to ease some of that. I've gone downtown and met with some of those business owners, and I think for me and what they talk to me about is that they want something done, and at this body we should do something about that, and we should try to work with them, with our homeless coalition to get some of these things worked out. But this is not to criminalize our homeless population, but it is to help those downtown businesses who deserve our support. Because I always say this: most of us live in neighborhoods, and we would not want people impeding in our neighborhoods or land in front of our homes. So I think that was businesses downtown deserve that same type of respect.
Commissioner Davenport, a seconder?
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be supporting this. I'm not going to go back and forth with my colleagues about terminology. But we do, for the edification of the public, we do have, we did set up a meeting in the future to meet with our nonprofit providers to discuss the lockers. So that is underway, and we look forward to getting feedback from them.
Thank you, Commissioner. I've got Commissioners Wright, Link, Taylor, Myers, and Thornton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate you moving this forward and the committee's work and the fast tracking this topic so that we can improve. I think that the improved use of our public right-of-way for everybody to be able to use it. And I think that this is a step in the right direction that might hopefully improve the connectivity between those who need help and those who provide help. Because I think that anyway, I hope that this is helpful. I think that we also need to do some work on checking on people. When people are sleeping with their belongings, it brings to my heart, does that person need medical attention? And I think that there's a point to where checking on somebody about them and their belongings is also a checkpoint to make sure that they are okay and that they're not in need of, like a wellness check is what's happening with an improved checkpoint and a sooner checkpoint, I think.
Commissioner Link.
Yeah, I wanted to address the lockers. I'm glad to know that, is there a date set for that meeting?
They are doing research and making, and talking with some of our community partners, and they're going to have a report hopefully by the end of this month. No
Okay.
permits on by the end of the month, though.
And this is the Homeless Coalition?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yeah. I just want us to also make sure that our police department is in these talks as well, because they will be the ones enforcing this. And I just heard my colleague say that they are. And, you know, because a lot of people think that Athens is a sanctuary city. So you can't tell people to come here and then tell people don't sleep in front of places where they going to sleep at, where the lights on it, where they ain't going to get killed or stolen or stabbed. You know, because I have a really close friend that I met once I got elected, Miss Teresa, whose address is City Hall. And the last thing I want is for Miss Teresa to be arrested, you know, for trespassing or anything like that. I just want us to be mindful of, you know, and Patrick doesn't want to go back and forth about terminology. Neither do not I. I'm not about the words. I'm about the people and the people who will be affected. And I don't know if y'all know, but we've approved a lot of structures, especially in District 9, that's going to tear down a lot of trees. That's going to bring a lot of people that we don't see out of the bushes. Where are those people going to go? Because again, a lot of people think that this is a sanctuary city, meaning not just the individuals, but the municipalities. When I was also newly elected, me, John, and Dexter, as well as Mayor, sat with a group about the homeless issue. They were business owners, and they, you know, talked to us about all of the things that they were facing. From then to now, the homeless population has probably tripled since then. And I just want us to be mindful of the fact that until we, you know, also reach out to the municipalities that's dropping them off, we're always going to be changing the terminology. It's going to be something else the next term, and then the next term. And at the end of the day, it's about the people. And a lot of them have mental health issues, or just fell on hard times and now have nowhere to go. And so I just want us to be mindful to just not fill our jail up with unhoused residents, because we don't want to look at them.
Commissioner Myers.
Yeah, as a fellow member of this ad hoc committee with with the Commissioners Davenport and Fisher, I just wanted to add a few points here, and that is, I think if anything, that this ordinance language really just clarifies some vague language, ambiguous language that was in there in the ordinances, and we had really involvement with the solicitor, William Fleener, and the Deputy Chief Harrison in there, so that it would help our law enforcement work with the unhoused population or anyone who are in this situation, because there was a lot of vague language. And the attorney's office, oh yes, the attorney's office was endlessly helpful. So we don't want to forget about them. And I think it's so I don't think it's going to. There's lots of exceptions. You have to be it's not just grabbing anyone off the street by any means. That's not what it's about. And I think we made sure of that again and again in there. There's also the new ordinance requires a warning. There's a warning before a citation and before put forward. And so I think these should be helpful. We did express to the members, the commissioner, to the importance of those, like exploring those lockers. And I clarified, because I couldn't remember if we'd set up a meeting or not. And it was, I think their goal is to get it by the end of January. I got that from the county manager's office, but probably more likely in February that they'd be getting us something back. And those are the Homeless Coalition with Sally Kimmel, Mike Moss, and Michael Bean will be doing that. So, and I do want to reiterate that what we said last time was that we were not looking to create a program that ACC would be responsible for. We may contribute in a certain way, a limited way, but not to be completely, that was important for us, to get faith communities and nonprofits involved and not have this to be another responsibility solely for the government here. So just wanted to add that.
Commissioner Thornton, and then Commissioner Davenport again.
Yes, I'm going to support this also. And I think Commissioner Taylor alluded to my point is I hope the lockers and the enforcement is not the total solution. I don't think that we know that other counties, cities are dropping folk off. If you drop a dog off and you get caught, you're going to get locked up. And it is not right for Gainesville, the police, to drop human beings off and leave them there for them to fend for themselves. We have been talking about this homeless situation since I've been on this commission, but we have not gotten to the root cause or prevention or to alleviate. So I hope this is just, I don't want us to go celebrate when we get lockers and then you move them up North Avenue to my district. Then I'm gonna send them over to Patrick's district. But all jokes aside, I wish somebody would have the, I don't know who does it, but somebody needs to be talking to the surrounding counties. Somebody need to be talking to our state representatives. This homeless thing is not an Athenian thing, whether people think we're a sanctuary city or not. Some of those folk just need a little tender loving and care, and some of them need to be down there with John Williams, but John Q. But at the end of the day, I would like to know exactly, and that's well, you already know because I already sent an email out to everybody. I want to know how the Homeless Coalition is functioning and processed. I don't get it. I thought that the Homeless Coalition was supposed to be the oversight for the continuum of care, but also to bring in other resources and programs. It still seems like everybody's working in their own silos. So John Morris said that he would take us, whoever wants to go. Tiff, I figured you did. And I thought maybe, I think I mentioned it to, I don't know who else I mentioned it to. But I want to know how it works. I really do. I'm supporting this, but it's got to be something else to this. It really does. So that's where I am. So, yeah, and maybe after we talk to John, we can have a more in-depth conversation.
I do just briefly want to note that there was legislation that passed the General Assembly in 2023 about jurisdictions dropping off homeless in other jurisdictions, with some limited exceptions. And so I believe that was, I'll find you the bill number. It was SB 62 from 2023. So if you want to research that, you can find a little more about that.
I need somebody to enforce it.
Certainly, Commissioner, I think at the time of passage, enforcement was recognized as a challenge, to say the least. So I've got Commissioner Davenport and then Commissioner Fisher.
Yeah, just for staff, can we get an update, 6-month update from the jail and maybe with our nonprofits on how this is working out? Like, from our police department, how many people been cited, arrested?
Subsequent to passage of tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Fisher?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. And just want to follow up with House Bill 62. And again, I think I suggested this. Senate Bill 62. I think I suggested this when it passes. I think we should send a letter to our surrounding counties stating that law and just sort of call them out. If they're dropping people off, and we know that, we have talked with service providers, people at Sparrow's Nest, Bigger Vision, then we need to address that with our surrounding counties, Mayor. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. And again, it don't have to be a ugly letter, but just saying, we're aware these things are happening and that they should not be happening, and we shouldn't have a community to tolerate that.
And Commissioner, this, testing my memory, this was 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
Then Manager Blaine Williams sent such a letter to surrounding jurisdictions. I'll dig that up and make sure I circulate it to the body.
Okay, well, maybe we need to reinforce it, or maybe it needs to come from you, being the mayor.
Glad to. All right, anything else?
Well, I'll sign it.
Commissioner Culpepper.
Just to comment on what Commissioner Fisher was saying, when we passed the ARPA money to spend on homelessness, that was part of it, is we were going to let surrounding counties know that they will be held accountable to that Senate bill and not to be dropping off folks. We stated that in the when we passed that. It sounds like it's not happening, but we did bring that up, and it was supposed to be taken care of.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, item 12 is acceptance of investigative audit of the ACC organizational structure. Do I hear a motion for acceptance of that audit?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion from Commissioner Link, a second from Commissioner Wright. All right, Commissioner Link, anything else?
Yes. Gavin, thank you so much. This is gold. And I would recommend that anybody who's interested in how our local government functions and is organized to pick up a copy of this. It's in our agenda. You can take a look at it online, print it out. I've only skimmed it so far, but I look forward to cozying up with it more. Thank you.
Where's my
Commissioner Wright?
printed copy?
Madam Clerk, apparently Commissioner Wright
Okay,
is
well,
missing out on some literature. We'll get
just
her
wanna
hooked up.
say-
About 9 more, Gavin, okay?
I just
There you
want to
go.
say I
We need a budget
really
amendment.
appreciated the topic and the details, especially in the property realm, being the in limbo property committee chair. That stuff in particular was very neat to me, and I took notes and I wrote down so many pages I wanted to print out. And now I get the whole thing just like that. It will not sit on the shelf. That is very well. Huh? Anyway, I appreciate the work. I appreciate the details. I suspect, as I was reading it, I was thinking, well, what a great report for a new manager to have. And so I think that it will not be on his shelf. He probably doesn't print things out, but, oh.
He's stolen yours, apparently.
Okay, all righty. But anyway, I appreciate this greatly, and, yeah, thanks for the hard work. And it seemed like it was in lightning speed, too, as well. And so you guys maybe should lighten up on give yourself a little time, take a little pace.
I'll let staff know
pace
they can
break
have a
for next
vacation.
year if you pass that on to your
Yes.
group.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yeah, just from a historical perspective, we had talked with the operation analysis to Gavin's department. It's something that we wanted to put out. We thought it was a good thing to look at our whole structure. I want to thank my colleagues, Commissioner Myers, and also the audit committee. We were the first ones to get this report, and they did a yeoman's job. Great information, and to Commissioner Link's point, I think it could be actually for our community to really take a look at all the departments we got, historical perspective, the impact that this government makes on our community. But I think it's good. Actually, I was sort of laughing to myself. It's almost better than our charter. I mean, when we look at it, but that's some good information, and just from the public, please, it's online. Take a look at it. Read over it, but there's some good stuff in there. Again, I just want to give a thumbs up to Gavin and that staff for putting this together, and really, and putting it in layman's terms where people can really understand the information that's in there. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Johnson.
Hey, Gavin, I thought it was great report, and I really appreciate the thoroughness and having something that's so comprehensive, but just clear and easy just to go through and read. It's just a resource tool. So thank you. It was really great.
Thank you. All right, motion and a second on the floor for acceptance. Please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, last item requiring a vote tonight is the TSPLOST 2026 final project list. A couple of things just as we kind of enter the conversation. Staff has indicated that the 20th, 2 weeks from tonight, is when we effectively need a final decision. So no decisions expected tonight. I know that Commissioner Davenport has taken up the work of collecting input and begun a final list. So your options tonight are to hold in totality, or if you would like to affirm interest in a sixth year and then have a subsequent vote, that's an option as well. So, Commissioner Davenport?
Motion to approve a 6 year with a final list being finalized on January 20th.
Second.
Can I
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Davenport, second from Commissioner Thornton. Commissioner Thornton is seconder. I'll turn to you.
No, I've been back and forth with Commissioner Davenport. I think the extra time and plus we heard comments tonight. So I think, and what was that date again?
20th, 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, I think we can do something by then.
Commissioner Wright?
I'm curious if it would help staff as they begin to do the paperwork for the intergovernmental agreements. Would it be helpful if the motion included that the Project 7 intersection improvements for Winterville on Main Street and Cherokee Road, that seemed to be in the agenda, kind of a way for the 6-year plan to begin the IGA paperwork. So,
Commissioner Davenport, would you like to affirm that that project, the roundabout at the 5 Points intersection in Winterville, would be a designated project?
I just need a point of clarification too, Mayor, if you don't mind. I'm sorry if you weren't finished, but yeah, that's fine with me. So we're just voting on the 6 years.
Yeah, we're just voting to say we're going to do a sixth year, and it will include the Winterville project with the final list to be determined in a vote 2 weeks from tonight.
But we're not voting on that extra 6 year being a 70-30 split.
That the sixth year could look different than the other years.
Okay.
And so the other thing would be if we need to, do we need to go in some sort of a conclave sort of mode to nail this down?
So I believe
What do we
Commissioner
need to
Davenport
do?
will be calling every member of the body to assemble a package that then will be able to be in front of the public, obviously well ahead of the 20th.
And is that going to be for the if we're going to have a special session on the agenda setting, will we want that list to be in the packet the Friday before for the public?
We will want that, and I would even say,
information?
let's back it up a couple of days, and by, let's call it Wednesday, would that be the 15th?
Because we do have a holiday that weekend.
Let's have that out
we
there.
should respect, and this is going to involve staff, because we don't want to start going, with the math. We need to have others in the conclave to keep us on track. And so Patrick,
He's taking the lead.
As he noted at the agenda setting meeting in December, he said he'd be glad to take.
can we request that he take notes to keep it straight?
Plenty of notes.
This sounds great, thank you.
Tape is rolling as we speak, so. Commissioner Myers?
Yeah, I'd like to, for us to ask the attorney if making a decision on that roundabout is really, can we wait for the 10 days on that?
What
Because
roundabout?
the roundabout in Winterville that you just made a motion on. Because I've only seen that just now, and I'd like to look at that a little bit more closely, because that's a larger item. And I'd like to just review what was submitted to us by Mayor Dodd before we make a vote on that. Does that make a difference to you in terms of getting this done between
It doesn't
now
really
and
make
2
a
weeks?
difference. You are going to have to, though, by the 20th, make a decision. The roundabout, in order for you to have a 6-year TSPLOST, you have to have an IGA with all the
Right.
municipalities. So I sent you the email, I shared it with everybody.
Right.
I couldn't tell if Mayor Farrell was indicating that.
And Commissioner Myers, Mayor Farrell has indicated that essentially,
No,
the price of a 6-year is that project.
Well, I actually wanted to read the whole email that I just received this afternoon rather than make it. Obviously, if everyone votes for it and I don't vote for it at this point, it'll go forward. But I just wanted to know if it made a difference in terms of you moving forward and doing the work in the attorney's office if it was now versus
No.
2 weeks from now.
I think that probably the difference is in what's in Winterville's email is it would allow them to begin the work to consider it
That's true.
faster.
Yes.
Yeah, because they won't consider their approval of the IGA and the approval of moving forward with a sixth year absent that project being included. So if that's included tonight, that gives us a week or so a head start on it. So that is one advantage of that.
I would say if majority of the commissioner for the 6 years, are for putting that project, it'd be good to have that direction. Then you're going to get the extra money from the 6 years you plan.
Can someone then just share with me, because I have just gotten this afternoon, today, what the price tag for that is and what percentage of the 6 year?
It's approximately $9 million.
And that's 9 million of how much is the extra money for
About 42.
So that's a good 20% of the money going to Winterville for that. Okay, just. No, this
Bogart is
is,
differently situated given their
this
relatively
project
small
is in
population.
Winterville.
So
Commissioner Wright?
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. And I thought the whole point, and this is a spinoff from our joint work session, was the IGA is essential, critical for the 6-year plan to be something that we talk about. And the project, and you're confirming that the mayor of Winterville feels that this project being included
Allows them to greenlight a 6th year.
is helping, and then and because we want to know the IGA is here by the 20th, so that we can vote on it and they can vote on it, and it's, because
So we would
otherwise we
vote
don't need
first,
to
and then they
talk.
would subsequently vote.
Yeah, because this allows us to talk about the 6-year plan with everybody, and Bogart was very clear, they want the 6 years funds without a project. So I really appreciate how everybody has let our holiday time be holiday time, but now it's time to get to work.
And as a reminder, both of those communities also are receiving some additional sixth year, if you will, pass-through money that's based on the formula. So even though Bogart doesn't have a project, they were comfortable with moving forward, they also will benefit from a 6th year because of those pass-through dollars.
So if, after this vote, if you guys, whoever does the math on this, will send us what is left over for the projects with the 6-year plan, Andrew's probably already ready to send, then that'll make sure that we're working in the right buckets of money, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Commissioner Davenport and Link?
So the list is done. One of the reasons why so it was my decision, unfortunately, to hold it because this meeting was jam-packed with a lot of stuff. And sometimes lists get leaked and then we get phone calls, additional phone calls or emails about, why this, and this. And so I was like, let us get through this meeting and then we'll send out a list. So staff has worked really hard. I worked really hard. The mayor and others have worked really hard on creating a list. But it was my decision, Patrick Davenport, District 1. I said, let's hold off on sending out the list to the group and to the public so we get to tonight's meeting, make a decision on what we're going to do with the 6th year, then we can just focus on the rest. But hopefully Saunders sent out his version or their version. But if not, I will send it out tonight. And yes, the Greenway, y'all are taken care of. Bike people, you're taken care of. North Athens taken care of. West Athens taken care
Why don't we send
of.
the list out instead of
But
doing
yeah,
this?
I will send that out.
So, yeah,
You'll send-
Commissioner, you'll send that, what you've got, that'd be great.
I will. So we need direction on. So when I called everyone over the weekend, over the last week, there's still some discrepancy on the 70-30. Some, if everybody's.
Can we, if we're not talking about
We're
this
not talking
tonight,
about
let's
that
not
now,
talk
but-
about this tonight.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that tonight, but
Patrick,
Just send the list down, we'll be good.
okay, I'll send the list out.
I don't think we've
Commissioner
discussed all
Link?
this.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we adequately fund some more Greenway. We've heard from a huge portion of the community, and I want to reiterate that the Greenway is not just about cyclists. There are a lot of runners on that Greenway. My husband being one of them, he found himself 50, 60 pounds overweight in the wake of the pandemic and 45 years old when his dad had dropped dead of a heart attack at 47. He started running, and he might not be alive today if it weren't for that Greenway. He heads to that Greenway. So there are a lot of people who use that Greenway to sustain their health as runners. It's not just about bikes. I know some of y'all have whatever prejudices you have against bikes, but there are a lot of runners on that Greenway, and they're staying alive because of that. They're able to run in a safe, steady place.
Can we go ahead and vote on the 6-year stuff?
Yeah,
so that we can
6 years.
Commissioner Johnson, you have some input?
I just have a question. I just want to understand what we're talking about. So I know that when we spoke at the last meeting before the holiday, that we were talking about revisiting the list because there are some districts that did not have any projects, and that maybe we would look at it again and make different decisions. And so I didn't hear that tonight. So what are we doing?
So what tonight would do is extend the program to a 6-year program.
Basically signal it, because you still got to formally
Yeah.
approve the IGA.
And with the understanding that one of the projects in year 6 would be the intersection improvements at the 5 Points intersection in Winterville to become a roundabout. But to your query specifically, this would not designate the rest of the list. That would be up for a vote on the 20th, which could be different than
Okay.
the draft list.
So we need to have a conversation with each other before the 20th.
Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
Pat-
Before the 15th.
Well, Patrick is going to send out the list.
Yeah,
And
I just
and-
wanted to understand
So,
the
Pat,
process.
yeah, Commissioner
Patrick's
Davenport
going
will
to
send
send it
out a
out,
draft.
and then, and I do think that when Patrick said that earlier, he asked if people had any ideas to reach out to him, anybody who wanted to work with him. So a list is prepared, but I'm sure there's opportunities to change it if necessary. But you do have a rough draft based on the calls and the comments that you did receive.
That's great.
Okay, so motion on the floor is to hold final action until January 20th with the intent to have a 6th-year program that includes that project in
And
Winterville.
just to let everybody know, the plan is to approve the project list on the 20th. We'll actually approve the IGA, we will,
In February.
at the first meeting in February.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks, Attorney Drake. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, now is that time in the evening when we have public input on any item that was not on tonight's agenda. Is there any member of the public who would like to speak to any item that was not on tonight's agenda? Now is that time.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Seeing none, we are going to get a report from myself, manager, the auditor, the attorney, and then from commissioners. And adjourn. Just wanted to welcome everybody to another year. Appreciate everybody's hard work. As this happens, interestingly enough, this week is 30 years that I've lived in Athens, Georgia. And really grateful for the generosity of this community that's ongoing. And I look forward to the year ahead, my last year in this role. So, Manager
Are we
Cal?
going to move right into the, just slide into the Mayor Pro Tem's position?
I appreciate you raising that. It has been kind of typical habit for about the last 15 years that we provide a 2-year opportunity for the existing mayor pro tem. So could I receive a motion from the body for mayor pro tem?
I nominate Commissioner Dexter Fisher to continue.
Thanks, Commissioner. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, I've got a motion from
I'll
Commissioner Hamby and a second from Commissioner Thornton.
Yeah.
All right.
We might just want to amend the agenda to add that.
Could I first have a motion to amend the
I make the
agenda
motion to amend the
to
agenda.
affirm
I'll second.
the mayor pro tem? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
I got a question.
Yes, Commissioner.
Is it possible to get a list of the expectations of a mayor pro tem?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I'll do that for you. All right, so now there's, could you reaffirm your motion,
I
Commissioner?
reaffirm my motion for Commissioner
And I
Dexter.
reaffirm my second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Thank you for the headache.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. Manager Cowell, anything tonight?
Only thank you for the last 5 months of 2025 and look forward to 2026. So Happy New Year. So, thank you.
Attorney Drake?
No comments.
Auditor Hessemer? All right, we'll begin with Commissioner Davenport, District 1, and we'll end with Commissioner Hamby.
Just Happy New Year to everybody, and look forward to having a wonderful year.
I just want everybody to remember that today is January 6th. It's the anniversary, the 5th year anniversary of the attack on our Capitol, on our government, on our democracy. I think we all can remember where we were that day. It was right before our swearing in of a couple of our new commissioners. And there were 5 officers that lost their life due to the injuries they sustained in that battle. And I think that we should offer a moment of silence for those lives lost and for the damage done to our nation and the ongoing crimes being committed that originated that day. I'll just ask for a couple seconds of silence to remember those folks lost. Thank you.
Oh. I don't have any comments. I can even get out the fact that I didn't have any comments. I don't have any comments. Happy New Year. Yeah, that's a good comment.
Happy New Year as well. I wanted to bring attention to our January 12th transit route changes. Those are now on the front page of the ACC website. So you can click on that and you can get into the details, maps, written changes and updates. I hope that our workers and employees in the community are patient while people are working through the changes and updates that have been made and are going to be in effect next Tuesday, right? The 12th? Yeah. And then, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned our retreat meeting on January 23rd. Do we have a time bracket?
9 a.m.
Because we have something already at 1 to 4.
We will be having retreat time 9 to 1, and then 1 to 4, we will be doing mid-year reviews under a closed session for charter officers.
Excellent. And well, I am thankful that you're including a discussion in our budget retreat on the Affordable Housing Fund and how we can move those funds out effectively into the community. And I thank you and staff for having that on there. That's it for me.
Thank Thank you, Mayor, and Happy New Year to everyone. And I want to thank my colleagues for having confidence in me to stay on as the Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Commissioner Hamby, for nominating me.
Oh, I don't know that was a vote of confidence. I'm joking. I'm joking.
But anyway, but as always, I always try to keep you guys informed of what we're doing and what the mayor and I are doing, and try to give y'all pertinent information. So I'll continue to do that this year. And and we get into our last year. I'm going 4 years running. 4 years ago, we were sworn in, Commissioner Taylor and Commissioner Culpepper. So we're going into our 4th year. So I'm looking forward for some big things. Make sure that we stay on task and, again, to continue to do the people's work that they asked us to do as we move forward. I do want to put a plug in for my church. Our pastor have challenged our congregation to do 100,000 hours of community service in this community. So, and actually, we start this Friday at the food bank where we're taking 30 members. We're gonna go to the food bank and spend 3 hours separating the food. But he put a challenge to that, and it just sort of sprung something on me that as a community, and this is such a giving community. If more of our community could do more of those type of things, to volunteer, to pour into other people that may be less fortunate. Look, we're fortunate to, first of all, be able to sit behind this rail. Secondly, to go to bed at night, sleep, have food. But it's just so much more than that. So I want to challenge our community to really get involved in some type of nonprofit, or just do volunteer, go mentor a child in our school system. I'm getting ready to be a mentor at Overthorpe Elementary School with a 3rd grader. They're going to assign me a young man, and my goal and my prayer is that I stay with him until he graduates.
There you go.
So that's going to be for me. That's going to be my ambition. But just a little bit of a challenge for what we're doing with our church, and put a little bit of a challenge out to our community. Think about the poor and to other people that may be less fortunate than we are. Thank you, Mayor.
Good idea.
Commissioner Johnson?
Oh, yes, thank you. I just wanted to ask if it's possible when we have public meetings, if what I notice often is that the meeting consists of a presentation and it's not included in the agenda. Just like for example, like when we have a public meeting, like the Mayor Commission, we have the agenda and we have all of the documents. It is really challenging because you can't follow, and maybe you want to keep them. I want to know if it's possible, how do you feel about directing staff to just upload it to the website, upload it to the calendar when they post the meeting? Just like if you have documents to share that you're going to speak from, me with my poor vision, I would like to read it before I get there. And so I just think.
So you're talking about the presentations?
Like presentations,
like for
yeah.
work sessions, because I think we.
Yeah, so I was watching, again, the Planning Commission, and they were going through this presentation, and they were going pretty fast. And it wasn't, and I didn't have any of those documents. But I just think it would be really helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I can definitely look and talk further with folks. I wouldn't want to promise 100% because I know are times when literally they're working on the presentation right before they come in, but certainly there's many of those we review a week ahead of time to kind of get them where they need to be and stuff. So I would think there should be a way in which we can do that. So, yeah.
That would be really great. And for the meetings that are in buildings that don't have video, like the Costa building, and we don't have documents, but you're interested in going, I have to read them in advance. Is there something that we can do to alternate, I'm sorry, not alternate, but change that so that something is available, video or documents?
Yeah, it's always going to be easier for the documents than it is the videos because, and Jeff would tell you that, I don't know what it is, like 300 meetings we're now responsible for over the course of a year. I mean, to be honest, our communications department does hardly anything other than
videos
for meetings that not many people are watching. And so I think the documents certainly would be a lot easier to do with those.
It would certainly be helpful if they're posted to the calendar, like the master calendar. Thank you. The traffic calming report for the core project.
The TIA, the traffic impact assessment?
Impact study, if you could send that to me, thank you.
Yeah, I did. It should be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check, thank you so much. Okay, so the next one is, at my district, the cooperative extension has recently declined individuals, mostly homeowner associations and people having baby showers, from using the space. And it's a first because ever since I've been returned to Athens in 2010-11, public buildings, public spaces were the people's buildings and spaces. For an example, in 5 Points, people can park at the fire department. At night, people can park at the water business office. So I was kind of curious what led to that, and maybe if you could find out something for us. It's mostly HOA annual meetings, and I got a phone call. I've gotten several phone calls from Lake Mueller about the landscaping at the cooperative extension. One could look at it as ornamental grass. However, they say it's the highest, the tallest it's ever been. And I did send Shamika helped me with the work ticket, and I got a response that it's not the county's responsibility. I don't know that, but I just would like to just confirm that.
We'll find out. I mean, I know
Okay.
it's, we own the building. Obviously, they're the tenant in the building, so I
Right.
just have to look at.
Okay. Code enforcement. So 4 separate neighborhoods have been super frustrated about code enforcement's follow-up, follow-through, and the ability to actually solve the issue. And some of these are really bad. I got a call and I went over to a Creekside neighborhood, and someone had thrown out, mattresses, tires, just trash, just like 2 or 3 months worth of trash. And I took pictures, and I'm going to formally send it in, but I want to know if it's possible to do something like a deer cam, and I might have some money in my budget, from my campaign to actually capture who it is. Code enforcement informed this neighborhood that they only come out to evaluate streets cleanliness every 12 weeks. I've not ever seen anybody, and they hadn't either. Just wanted to confirm that. And when they did meet with that resident, they said that there's nothing that they can do. I would like to, as the budget comes closer, talk about increasing their power or changing it, because 4 separate neighborhoods, they are at their wits' end because nothing is being handled. People know how to duck and dodge, and the issue is not being fixed. It's recurring. It's just always, and I continue to get the calls. And Andrew, I'm so looking forward to having that conversation with you about learning everything about how to start a mall project. Not a mall, but how to start a park project in District 6. Okay, I think that's right around. Oh, there's a neighborhood I have where the streets in the neighborhood are not to code. And they had several people from Transportation and Public Works come out. And they said, you're right. Fire trucks cannot get through. They have to back up. School buses cannot get through. And if you have individuals parking in front of their house, it's only a single lane road. So I wanted to say that, and maybe you could ruminate on it, you and Andrew, and I'd like to have a conversation with you about how to address that, because they did acknowledge that the roads are too narrow.
Yeah. Typically, the resolution obviously is looking at parking restrictions on the street in order to keep the ability to actually serve them with the emergency vehicles and others, but that's going to be your typical, because it's not going to be likely that it would end up being a a project to widen the road, so.
Well, what it is there are two separate roundabouts where the roundabouts are so narrow, they're not wide enough. And so the school bus can't get around it.
Commissioner, it might be helpful if just kind of via email arrange a site visit with staff. That might be helpful so they can see.
That's what I would
Yeah.
like to do.
Yeah, and you can send it to me and then I'll coordinate
Okay,
it.
thank you so much. And Happy New Year.
I'll keep it short. Happy New Year. Look forward to working with everybody in 2026.
It's very short. Happy New Year. I want to follow up and give more kudos to the leisure services. I know it's like, December's over, but they put together and organized another great holiday parade of lights downtown. And these community celebrations that leisure service takes a lead on are just so valuable, and they're very heartwarming and often joyous and fun events. So I just want to really thank them for that. I also want to point out that Monday, January 19th, we have the MLK Day of Service, and that you can volunteer at the ACC website. There's a bunch of, there's a bunch of places you can volunteer from 10 to 12, I believe that's when it's said. And also that there's a parade that afternoon at 3 p.m. and a festival downtown from the Athens Anti-Discrimination Movement. It tends to be a busy holiday if one does that, but a very worthwhile one as well.
Happy New Year, everybody. I do want to emphasize the work session next Tuesday, our regular work. The GIG committee will be presenting, one of the committees will be presenting the work that we've done. And I know there's been a lot of questions about housing, but I hope the housing issues will stay in the GIG arena and not be divvied out all over the place, because we are tracking things. But the training next week, I think, will be very helpful. In April, to follow up on we're hoping to have a Thomas Lay Day to back up the resolution part of the research. And we're going to be asking everybody that grew up or had any relationships with Thomas Lay to come out. And so I'm working on that. And the last thing I want to mention, because again, the things that are on my radar are the quarry and the data centers. This morning, did you actually get on?
Yeah, I did get on.
I did too. They had ACCGov sponsored a session on data centers. They're going to have it online next week, and I'll send it out. It's very generic, but I do think for those people who are interested, in different segments, the poverty law.
Southern Poverty Law Center.
They presented also. So those will be good resources as we move further into the data centers, because it's going to pop up sooner than you think. So Mike has told me to keep it short, so I'm short.
So, finally, you listened to me. It took you 4 years.
Well,
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn. There's a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful night.